Yo, peace was good. Welcome to an installment of albums that never got released officially. This is gonna be part 9. This will be the last video I do as far as this series. Just simply because I feel like I covered a lot of albums and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of albums that never came out, but you know, it's just like I'll just keep going on forever and forever. And like I said before, I want to cover more album reviews because I know a lot of people like my reviews and stuff like that. So. Alright, so let me start off with the first album of the video. The first album of the video I'm going to talk about is Shabazz the Disciple with the Book of Shabazz. That was an album that was supposed to come out back in 1998. It never came out because at the time when he released the album, when he was supposed to release the album, he was under GZA's record label or his production company, GZA Entertainment. I believe that's what it was called. But that album, the record label, entertainment company folded. It went out of business, and because of that, that's why the album suffered. So the album never came out, you know. Because I remember I was watching an interview with Shabazz back in like the mid. It took place in the mid '90s. You know, like it looked like 95, 96, around that era, and he was talking about coming out with an album. He didn't name the name of the album, but I remember him talking about the album. It's supposed to drop next year, which was supposed to be like 96, 97, whatever. But it never came out. So, and because of that, just his record label folded and stuff like that. But I do have the album here, the Book of Shabazz, Hidden Scrolls. Sorry about that. I have it right here. This came out in 2003. Yeah, very good album right here. But to me, the album feels more like a compilation album, just simply because of some of the songs, like the Lamb's Blood, the War Trilogy songs, because there's 3 parts to the song, which was on, what's the name of that fucking album? The Birth album by Baby J, a UK producer, very dope producer, definitely has that woo sound to it. He definitely has like the classic songs that we all know by Shabazz. You know, Crime Saga, Thieves in the Night, featuring Killer Priest and Lil Dap, Organized Rhyme Part 2, you know, joints like that. And then he has some like new songs and stuff like that. Songs that he made in the 90s and 2000s that never came out. He put it on here. But I would love to hear the original version of Book of Shabazz, you know. So, but yeah, Shabazz the Disciple used to be part of Sons of Man at one point, but he left to do a solo career, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, Shabazz the Disciple, Book of Shabazz, was due to be released in 1998. Next album is A.D.O.R with the Concrete album. A.D.O.R, he's an MC from Mount Vernon, New York, home of Heavy D, Diddy, Pete Rock and CL Smooth, bunch of other people, man. A.D.O.R, he's like I said, he's from Mount Vernon. He got put on by Diddy at one point. You know, he was shopping him around other record labels. I believe he's Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's Spanish. Then eventually he got into the hands of DJ Eddie F, who was Heavy D's DJ. You know, for the Heavy D and the Boyz. So you can say he was somewhat affiliated with Heavy D in a sense, if that makes sense. He had a single out called Let It All Hang Out, which was pretty big in the early 90s, like 92, 93. That was pretty big. And he had another single called One for the Trouble, which I fucking love that song. Pretty dope. And he was he was set to be released the album, The Concrete. It was supposed to come out in 94. At the time, I think he was signed to Atlantic Records, which, you know, I already spoke about Atlantic Records. He never dropped the album, never got released, you know, got shelved. But it ended up getting bootlegged and stuff like that. I mean, there's promo copies that you could probably get on Discogs. There's been leaks that you can find on the internet, you know, you want to download or whatever. It's a pretty dope album, but, you know, from what I read, it's like, you know, he got kicked off the label, or he got let go of the label because of, creative differences, you know, within the group. I guess they wanted him to go more commercial, that kind of thing. And, you know, at the time, Atlantic Records wasn't really known for hip-hop, you know. Because I know at that time, I believe Original Flavor was an Atlantic Records, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, like I said before, Atlantic Records is no stranger when it comes to hip hop. You know, hip hop controversy, to say the least, because you know, Apathy, he had issues with Atlantic Records. Lupe Fiasco had issues with them. Saigon had issues with them. So you know, A.D.O.R was no different. So it kind of sucks, but I would love for that album to come to see the light of day, man, because that's a very good album. It definitely captures '94 to a T. You know, it's a very good album. But yeah, that's A.D.O.R with a Concrete. That was set to be released in 1994. The next album, MC Ren with Life Sentence. That was set to be released in 92, 93. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Everybody knows that, you know, MC Ren, you know, him being part of N.W.A. He released his first project, Kiss My Black Ass EP in 92. And at the same time, he was working on Life Sentence. Life Sentence was supposed to be the original version of what Shock of the Hour became to be. At the time, he converted to Islam. You know, he became Muslim. And, you know, he joined the Nation of Islam. So the Life Sentence was like more on that gangster tip. So he scrapped the album, but he saved some of the tracks off that album, and he put it on Shock of the Hour. So the first 6 tracks, the first 6 tracks are from Life Sentence, and the rest of the tracks, like I think Mayday from the Frontline, which was also featured on the CB4 soundtrack. I like the album version better, but anyways, from that, it was like more political. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the rest of the album was like more political, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. He was on that, you know, like the Paris, you know, Chuck D kind of vibe to him, but like a lot more aggressive, kind of like Ice Cube with America's Most Wanted, you know, that kind of vibe, you know, political wise. Death Certificate around that time, like kind of that vibe, you know what I mean. But yeah, I really love Shock of the Hour. I mean, his first 3 projects, Kiss My Black Ass EP, Shock of the Hour, and the Villains in Black. Those 3 projects from MC Ren are fucking dope. I love them joints, man. But if I had to choose, I would have to say Shock of the Hour. I just love the grittiness, the darkness of the album. It's just really, really, really dope, man. I really love that album, man. So, like I said, the first half of the album is Life Sentence, and then the last half is Shock of the Hour. You know what I mean? So, but I would have loved to hear the original version of Life Sentence, you know, because that album is fucking bananas. So that's MC Ren with Life Sentence. Alright, the next album is by a group from Harlem, New York, Harlem Uptown. Their name is the Troubleneck Brothers with Fuck All Y'all. That was set to be released in 1992. It consists of 7 members. I have to look it up right here. Soundwave, Motown, Prophet, Blunt, Stepchild, Shaft, and N.W.A. Those are the group members of the group. Let me turn it down real quick. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so they're a group from Harlem, New York, Uptown. They had an album called Fuck All Y'all that was supposed to come out in 92, but it never came out. The album never came out officially. It was shelved, and I remember finding it years ago, back in I think like in the mid 2000s. This is when I was heavy into Soul Seek. You know, everybody, people that know about Soul Seek know about, you know, finding unreleased albums. That's how I was able to find a lot of the albums. How I was able to find certain albums and things like that. But yeah, Soul Seek was my shit back in the day, man. But anyways, getting back to Troubleneck Brothers, they came out with that album. They had a single out called Troubleneck Wreck, you know, things like that. There was a video for it, it uses the same sample as the Bugging Out by Tribe Called Quest, but they kind of made it more darker, like a more darker vibe to it. Pretty dope, man. I really enjoyed that joint right there. But the album never came out. You know, it just got shelved. I don't remember what record label they were under at the time, but yeah, it never came out officially. You know, it's unfortunate. Little trivia about Troubleneck Brothers. Well, one of the members, I should say, Blunt, the MC Blunt. His real name is Stephen Samuels and stuff like that. His government name. Him and his wife are the founders of the SOHH, which is supportonlinehiphop.com. That's their website, hip hop website. He's responsible for that. Him and his wife. So I thought I'd just throw that out there. But I don't think he owns that website anymore. I think somebody else took it over. But he's like the founder of that website. Him and his wife are the founders of that website. Thought I'd just throw that out there. So yeah, so that's Troubleneck Brothers. But fuck all y'all. I mean, very dope album, very gritty, you know, rugged, you know, that kind of thing. Really enjoy that joint. From what I can see is that they re-released it. They released it, but it was like a bootleg. You know what I mean? It wasn't an official copy. It was like a CDR and like an unofficial like white label vinyl. So yeah, but I would love for that to see the light of day. That get an official release. I would like to get a CD of that. You know. Still on the Troubleneck Brothers kind of vibe is 360, aka Troubleneck Brothers, with Enter the Cipher. That was an album that was supposed to come out back in 1994. The story with that album is that they actually they would perform under the name 360, and they would have the album Enter the Cipher, but it was cassette only release, and you couldn't get it in stores. You only could get it at their concerts. So if you ever go to their concerts, that's where they would like give out the tapes and stuff like that. So that's the story with that. That's what Enter the Cipher with 360, aka the Troubleneck Brothers. So that's number 5. Number 6, Lost Boyz with the Legal Drug Money. The story with that, yes, I know Legal Drug Money came out, but they actually made an album. Well, there was a demo version of that album. It wasn't even called Legal Drug Money. It was just called The Lost Boyz. And it had different songs. It had like it had some of the songs from Legal Drug Money, but there were some songs that didn't make the album. He had songs like Summertime, which ended up being on Love, Peace, and Nappiness, but it was like a different beat. But I like the version, the demo version better. It fits a lot better. They had a joint called Party Joint. Niggas Don't Want It Over Here, which ended up being on Rhymes and Reason soundtrack. It came out in 97. Because when you hear the song, I mean, the beat is the same from the soundtrack version. The only difference is that in the promo version, he actually says 94, but in the soundtrack version, he says 97. So I thought that was pretty interesting on that. But yeah, it's like a really different sounds, a lot more gritty, more dark, and the kind of thing, more street. Kind of, not to say Legal Drug Money isn't, because it's definitely gritty and stuff like that. But some of the songs that were on the promo version, you know, it was a lot more street, a lot more gritty, and that kind of thing. And I remember listening to Mr. Cheek's interview a couple weeks ago. Shout out to my dudes, L.E.O. and Speak No Evil of Drop a Gem on them. They actually talk about that promo album, and you know, talks about how it took them about, I think, 2-3 years to release that album, to record and release, because the record label they were under at the time, I think they were under Universal Records. You know, they pretty much told them, like, you know, they had to change some of the songs, some of the production and stuff like that. So that's why it took them so long to put out that album. So, but yeah, man, Legal Drug Money, that's a definitely classic album in my opinion. Very dope, very slept on in my opinion. But I would have loved to hear the original version of that album. And it has the songs Channel Zero, you know, songs like that. So, but yeah, so that is Lost Boys, Legal Drug Money demo version, or the promo LP, EP, I should say, because there was only like 8 tracks on that album. All right, so that was number 6. Number 7, Dirty Dozen, aka D12, with the Underground EP. That was an EP, or I would say it was like more like an album, I guess, like an independent album, because I believe they only had like 10 tracks on that album, or the project, I should say, and it's songs that they recorded between 96 97, that never really saw the light of day until like 2000, and it's like old stuff that they did, like JD, aka J Dilla, rest in peace. Mr. Porter did some stuff on there production wise. It's completely different. It's like a lot more boom bap, a lot more gritty, that kind of thing. Yeah, man, it's a lot more darker, that kind of thing. They still had, the sense of humor like you hear on Devil's Night and D12's World, which I didn't really get to listen to D12's World, but I could imagine it not being too good. I didn't really give that album a chance. But that Devil's Night though, I used to listen to that shit heavy, especially like back in 2001. Man. But anyways, getting back to D12 or Dirty Dozen, that was the original name. Like I said, it was like demos that they recorded around 96, 97, and they put it out officially, not officially, they put it out themselves independently back in 2000. I think it was like a cassette or CDR, but it'd only be available, if you go to their shows and stuff like that around that time, around 2000, and then it got bootleg over the years and stuff like that. So chances are you're not gonna get an official copy. If you get it online, you'll probably get like a bootleg and stuff like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed that project, the Underground EP. I would love for that to come out officially. I mean, like I said, to hear Mr. Porter's beats around that time, as well as JD's or J Dilla's beats around 96, 97. I mean, can't beat that. That Detroit hip hop, man. Man, recipes to Proof, recipes to Bugs, recipes to J Dilla, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's Dirty Dozen, aka D12, with the Underground EP. That was supposed to come out like 97, 98, around that time. That's number 7. Number 8, N.W.A. with Not These Niggas Again. That was an album. That was an album they were supposed to record. I think it was supposed to be released back in 2000, but they never really got a chance to record any songs because due to yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, so they never got a chance to record that album because Ice Cube busy with movies, Dr. Dre with the Chronic 2001, MC Ren at the time, like around 98, he just released his Ruthless for Life album around that time. And at the time, people were saying that Snoop Dogg was like the new member of N.W.A. to replace Eazy-E. But honestly, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm glad the album never came out because it just wouldn't be the same, And I love Snoop Dogg. I fuck with Snoop Dogg. But I just don't feel like he would be a good fit for N.W.A. You know what I mean? Unless he at that time, cause you know how he is. He's very laid back and smooth and things like that. Because N.W.A. is known for that high pace, aggressive vibe to them, and I just feel like at that time, they didn't really have that same energy like they did back in the late '80s, early '90s. So I just didn't see that being a good time. Seeing them putting that out, I didn't see that being very successful. I mean, bad enough people hated on Niggas for Life, which I think was a dope album, but a lot of people hate on it because of it being misogynistic and things like that, but I've heard worse. But anyways, man, yeah, N.W.A. Not These Niggas Again. Like I said, And then Ice Cube at that time, man, he wasn't as good like he used to be. Um, that's just my opinion. Like, he came out with the War and Peace album, both volumes 1s and 2. Um, Volume 1 was, it took me a while to get used to. I didn't really like the album when it first came out. It's okay. I'm still not in love with the album. And then he came out with Volume 2, which was horrendous. I hated that album. So, I just can't imagine, that N.W.A album being as good as the first 2 albums, And then with Snoop Dogg being in the group, I just don't see good things coming with that, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that album never came out, And then, MC Ren, like I say, was very laid back and things like that. And then, Dr. Dre, he was in his prime. Well, I won't say his prime, but, he was still hot at the time, And, him with, the Chronic 2001, he would have been too busy, to worry about the N.W.A album. And he was working with Eminem at the time, so his whole focus was on that. So I really didn't see that happening. Things of that nature. So I'm kind of glad that album never came out. It would be nice, but I just wouldn't look forward to it and then Eazy-E is dead, so it just wouldn't be the same. With Eazy-E not being there, like, nah, I'm good, man. And then I don't know, like if they had like unreleased vocals from Eazy-E, so I don't know, but it is what it is with that. So that's N.W.A with Not These Niggas Again. That's number 8. Number 9, Eazy, The Final Call. That was an album that was supposed to come out back in 2004, but it got shelved because the album ended up leaking on the internet. It got leaked, and so he had to redo a whole album. And the album ended up becoming A.D.O.R, which came out back in 2005, with songs like New York, not the format, the Come Up, songs like that, things of that nature. But then the album, The Final Call, ended up coming out back in 2008. He actually re-released the album. But that album, to me, it felt more like a compilation album, in my opinion. They have it as a compilation album. It's a pretty decent album, Final Call. It's alright. It's not his best, but it's pretty cool. It's known for singles like The Magic Hour with CL Smooth. Yes, CL Smooth and Pete Rock and CL Smooth. The Live Wire, which was a pretty dope song. Buck Wild did the beat. That was pretty big back in the mid-2000s. I believe that song was actually a bonus track on the A.D.O.R album. So, so that's Eazy with The Final Call. That was due to be released in 2004. It ended up coming out in 2008 on Koch Records. So that's Eazy, The Final Call. Last album is Tupac's second album, Troublesome 21. Yeah, sorry about that. Tupac with Troublesome 21. That was supposed to be his second album. It was supposed to come out back in 1992. Troublesome 21, obviously because, he was 21 at the time. Because he was born in 1971. But, it ended up becoming Strictly For My Niggas. Tupac Troublesome 21, like I said, it was supposed to come out in 92. But, he had to redo the whole album because of sample clearances. Things like he couldn't clear some of the samples. Some of the songs were a little bit too violent and things like that. That's why he had to redo the whole album and things of that nature. In fact, the song Changes. That song Changes that came out in '98. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah, that song was supposed to be on Troublesome 21, but that song ended up coming out in '98. There's a verse, like I said, if you guys see my Strictly For My Niggas album review, like I did a couple years ago, there's a mixtape out called Troublesome 21 on Dat Piff, which is like pretty much the original album of the original 21 Troublesome 21 album. It's like the demos and stuff like that. It's the original album, but it's like in studio quality, so it's pretty good. It's what Strictly For My Niggas was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be, but I love Strictly For My Niggas. I think that's a very underrated album. And then another song, Holla If You Hear Me. The version on the Strictly album is actually the remix, because the original version is it has a different beat, and Life Squad, Majesty, and Big Stretch, rest in peace to Stretch, was actually on the song. And obviously, Stretch did the beat for both versions. But they had to scrap that version because there was a line where Tupac said, "Chief Gates, you better go move to a different state," because at the time, with the whole LA riots at the time, with the Rodney King trial that they had going on, Chief Gates being one of the officers, being part of that trial, that case and stuff like that. So he named Chief Gates, and then they had to scrap that. And then the story with Strictly for My Niggas, the reason why the album cover, the reason why it looked the way it did was because with the computer graphics, is because originally it was Tupac wrapped around an American flag around his torso, and it was lit on fire. And obviously Interscope Records, they could have released that because it's very controversial. So that's why the album looks the way it does. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's Tupac with Troublesome 21. It was supposed to be released in 1992. And that's it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. Thank you guys for all the support and love, or the comments. Much appreciated. Y'all be easy. Peace.